Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia and this is the summary for the day of 1340 for the 25th of October for the Ukraine war or the special military operation in Ukraine, also known as slow motion operation. So anyway, we're going to go into the south over in the Kherson front. There is fighting being reported still over at the Antonovsky Bridge, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. Shelling is reported at Antonivka and Platontivka, according to the Russians. The Ukrainians have their own reports of some airstrikes, but it's really not important. It doesn't really do anything to the front. Moving on to the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, over at the Kayamsky and the Orikhiv sector, this is Kayamsky, this is Orikhiv. At this sector, the fighting is reported at Stepnohursk, Kanyamsky, and Stepove. Fighting is also reported over at Novoandreevka and Novodanilivka over in the Orikhiv sector. Interestingly, no report of fighting over in the Malatomashka and north of Robotine region. I wonder if it's all now consolidated as part of the Novodanilivka sector, which is a possibility. So the Russians are on this offensive against Orikhiv. There is fighting still continuing around this sector, with the Russians continuing to try to push towards Primorsky along the river. This is a river, by the way. This is a Dnieper river for those that are not familiar with Ukrainian geography. But I believe that by this time, only people who are interested in the Ukraine war watches these reports. The mass public, just don't give a damn about Ukraine war anymore. No, they will just they will do some token, say I support Ukraine, down with the Russian or Russian aggressors. But then after that, they'll go back to eating McDonald's and and Starbucks and just enjoying their life. Poor Russians have no McDonald's and Starbucks. I always eat McDonald's to support Ukraine. Slava Ukraini. Whatever, man. So I really wanted to try the Russian McDonald's, the new one. I forgot the name. They should give it a English wording name. The Russian name is too complicated for me to remember. Huyepole. Or they should just call it Novoselivka. It's easy to remember because we go through so many Novoselivskas. Anyway, fighting is reported at Vysoké, also known as Shavone, in the Huyepole sector, Malinivka, Novovasilivsky, Novohrihorivka, Palivka, Privyone, Ribne, as well as Zlaboda. I think it's Zlaboda, right? Yeah, I remember correctly. It's Zlaboda. And there's some shelling reported at Radisne, it's further away. Geolocation is at Privyone, but this is already part of the Komar front. So there's some advancement of the Russian forces in this northern sector as the Russian forces is trying to take out all of these chain of settlements. They want to overrun this position, which is working out so far, and they're starting to push probably in this sector here towards the Ukrainian fortification. But I think the main push is still going to be the rear position, as they can flank to the rear of the Ukrainian positions at Yablokove and Huyepole. The Ukrainians will not be able to fight effectively because they will be more worried about their retreat. So that's the situation over in the Huyepole sector. Over in the Komar front, so this is let me see. So this is Komar. At the Komar front, we have fighting reported over in Privyone, as mentioned. Actually, it's at Yandrivka, Vishneve, shelling reported at Danilivka, Verbove, Oleksievka, Stepove. There's geolocation of Russian forces pushing towards Yehorivka. Geolocation of Russian forces south of Sosnivka. Fighting is reported over here. Fighting is also reported at Novoselivka. Pipdutne. The Russian forces is claimed to have taken a big chunk over and captured Ivanivka. Geolocations not in the newly claimed zone. Privilia as well as Dashny. So there is this interesting push in this sector. The Russians are pushing in the Ivanivka Filia region. That's interesting. So some consolidation operations around Pipdone, and then the main push is still pushing west in the northern, in the border regions, between the Dnipro, or Dnipropetrovsk and Zaporizhia. The flanking operation into the rear of Rostopil continues, and this sector here is probably very contested. Ukrainians probably is doing counter-offensive in this sector. That's the feeling that I get. But that's about it. In the Komar front, I think strategically pretty similar, pretty routine. Nothing particularly stands out a lot per se. So that's all from this Komar front. Moving into the Pokrovsk front. So this is Pokrovsk city. This is Minograd, and so Pokrovsk is where Pokrovsk front is where the fiercest fighting is currently happening. The Russian forces have advanced in Novomykolaiivka, fighting Molodetsky, Udashne, Kotliny, towards Sofievka, Vivrove, Pokrovsk, Novopalevka, Lysivka, Sukiya, Promin, Balahan, geolocation of Russian forces entering into the south of Minograd, fighting at Minograd, Novoekonomichne, Novoshovny Liman, and Rudinsky. So I just want to note the reports here is based on, this is a summary for yesterday, so there's no reporting from today. And the frontline changes noted here is based on the frontline changes that I have already published. So the latest frontline changes is not in this mapping. So just want to highlight this. So the Russian forces are consolidating this position, which is pretty interesting. Wonder whether they will push in. This is a question mark, whether they will push in or not. The battle for Pokrovsk is currently ongoing. Russians have already a strong foothold in the middle. The Russians also have started the battle for Minograd. The attack is coming from the south. In the south, the war is going to be raised forward from Sukiya and Lysivka. They're going to push forward. Consolidation of position at Promin is already reported by the Russians, and the flanking operation north of Minograd is still ongoing. The Russians have not given that up. So the situation here is really bad for the Ukraine, and we shall wait and see whether the Ukraine is able to hold on. I just want to note that this is already a salient. If you know, this is already a salient, if you noticed. So if this continues to close up, then it's going to start to become an encirclement. So it's not looking very good for the Ukrainians. Moving further up north to the breakout zone, you can see this literally almost like a separate front line already. I can just clear this. So so in this Pokrovsk breakout zone, this is like a separate front line. The fighting is like totally separated now. Fighting is reported at Mayat, Pankivka, Volodymyrivka, Shakove, could be coming from the other side, Sofievka, and Toretsk. So the Russians are really focusing on this chain. Fighting is moving towards Novomykolaiivka. Shelling is reported at Hanivka. Fighting is reported at Rusinya and Stepanivka, but this is part of the Konstantinivka front. So you can see the main action is this chain of settlements. The Russians are trying to take all of this. So this is the main action in this region of the Pokrovsk front. We move further to the east to the Konstantinivka front. So let me move all the arrows over. So Rusinya and Stepanivka already mentioned. The Russians are fighting still over at Shibenivka, Plishevka, Alexandrovshutine, Konstantinivka, and Stupovsky. The Russians have actually penetrated deeper into the south of Konstantinivka, starting the battle for Konstantinivka. Very similar situation at Minograd in this area. The Russian forces continue to push out from this area. Ukrainian forces at Shibenivka, if they exist, is probably encircled. This is a big problem because I don't think they have a way out for now. The way out, I think, is already closed. Rusinya, Stepanivka, I think this is the static line for now. The fighting at Stupovsky might be a Ukrainian counterattack. The Russians are trying to consolidate this position and create the Eastern Wall. So this is ongoing. We shall see how this goes. I think when more information start to drop, we're going to see that this battlefront is going to be pretty exciting as well. And as excited as you can be, remember people are dying. People who raise babies, go through happiness and sadness, cries, and go bring them to school, to junior school, to senior school, then they go and die. over nothing. So it's not something to be celebrate about, but I mean, from a perspective of battles and war, yeah, it's pretty exciting. But people die in this excitement, so it's not that good in that sense. So don't celebrate. Fighting is reported at Bondarne, according to the Russian Defense Ministry. That's did I even know? Oh, sorry, it's not Bondarne. It's this is Kromivka. I realized now. So there's this place called Kromivka. The Russian Defense Ministry mentioned it. It could be an attack coming from Versikivka, but we do not know. So let's see. Let's wait and see. This is the first time Kromivka is mentioned. Over in the Liman-Siversk front. So this is Liman. This is Siversk. Over this front lines, fighting is reported at Zarishne, Torske, and Yampil. Over in the Liman side, at the Siversk side, Russian forces are fighting at Serbianka, Siversk. Geolocation of Russian advance towards Siversk from the north of Vimka is noted. Another one is the further push from Serbianka. So clearly showing the arrows of movement by the Russians in this sector. There's no fighting being reported in this southern flanking operation. There's two prongs attack. The eastern prong is moving towards Siversk. The other one that it went quiet. Russians have already captured Dronivka. They're probably going to push out, but probably at this moment is consolidation. Russians are taking Yampil. The aim is to go into the south of Liman. There might be a push directly to Liman in this sector, but tentatively that's it. Geolocation of Ukrainian artillery was noted. North of Riznikivka was hit. So Ukrainians have artilleries in this sector. If a standard artillery with 10 kilometers range, you can kind of see that this artillery is very well positioned to cover most of the front line around Siversk. So that's why it's destroyed. So that's the situation in the Liman-Siversk front. Moving further up north to the Oskil-Liman front, we have fighting reported over in Kharkivka, Serine, Korovia, Novoselivka, and Drobishebe. So Zarishny already mentioned. Geolocation of Russian forces noted as they push north of Novoselivka. And the aim here is to capture Novoselivka, pushing towards Sviatohursk. The other aim is to capture Shevneve. The push towards Korovia is to aim towards Oskil. This is a static line. Don't expect too much from that sector. So the strategic situation, the macro situation is the same in the Oskil front. No change in this sector. And moving further up north to the Borova front, we have a return of fighting in this sector. Fighting is reported at Bohuslavka and Shevivka. Nothing special about this. I don't expect too much from this area. I think it's just skirmishes. Over in the Kupyansk front, Battle of Kupyansk continue. We have fighting reported at Kucherivka and Kucherivka, and there is geolocation of Russian forces entering into Krylivka. The Russians, as such, have captured Pishane. Fighting is still being mentioned here. So this strategic situation have changed entirely with the Russians pushing through towards Kupyansk Volovi. There is two crossings around here. So if the Russians take both of them, then the Ukrainian lines all across these areas will collapse because there will be no more accessible crossing for the Ukrainians to reinforce or resupply their troops. So this area here will collapse. If this falls. So, and the Russians could also potentially use this as a breakout zone into the south of Kupyansk as well. Battle of Kupyansk continue. Kucherivka is an interesting named place because we haven't seen this place mentioned for 2 months. Sorry, more than 2 months, half a year now. So Kucherivka being mentioned is a very, very interesting. So there is definitely some major changes in the Kupyansk front in the macro situation. So this is something to look out for. I just want to show you the bridges. These are the two bridges, and both bridges has been destroyed, but the pontoon crossings are all next to the bridges. The main reason is because the roads already lead to this place. So which is why they will just put pontoon crossing nearby so that it's convenient. So that's the main thing. You can see this is actually the bridge. You can see this is the pontoon crossing, if I'm not wrong. So I think these are the pontoon crossings. You know, already updated in the satellite imagery. There's another one here. The bridge is also supposed to have destroyed. So I'm not sure if this is a pontoon. It looks pontoon-ish to me. So yeah, so no, that's the situation in this sector. So the bridge over in Kupyansk can no longer be used because the Russians are too near here already. So that's the main reason. Moving into the Voreshna front, nothing around the Voreshna region still. Over in the corner, we have fighting reported at Bolehivka, Voreschansky, Kolodziasny, and Krasny Pershe. So the fighting continues with the Russians aiming to take out this corner, this salient here, and straighten the front line in this sector. We move on to the Kharkiv front. So happy birthday to you if your birthday today. And in the Kharkiv front, fighting is being reported over in Voschansk and Veterinane. So this is probably a skirmish. The main battle is still at Voschansk. The Battle of Voschansk ongoing. But this we will keep a lookout, you know, in case this becomes something like a big push towards capturing of Udi or Soloshev. We do not know. But tentatively, I don't think there's something I don't think this is a thing. I think the main action is still Voschansk. Moving further to the Sumy front, which is also the last front line to cover, the Russians continue their buffer zone operations. So we zoom in a bit. I think we can see everything here. Shelling is reported at Helenicia. This is the first time this place is mentioned. Shelling is also reported at Rohisne. Fighting is reported at Novosich, Kochakivka, Kondrativka, and Stepne. But this is a buffer zone. This is a static line. I don't think the Russians are on any more offensive. They are probably satisfied with the current line. And yeah, that's it. As I before even the buffer zone was established, I already mentioned the likely line is going to be affected mainly because of these big forests here. So we indeed have this line established away from the forest. So that's it. So this is the summary and the SITREP for the day of 1340 for the 25th of October. So thank you for watching, and subscribe, press the like button, comment, if you have any ideas or thinking about all these things. And also after this, I'll be doing the DPA open mic. So if you are interested to make friends, chit chat about geopolitics, war, and culture, anything, just make friends in this sphere, this world where maybe I'm quite sure a lot of your friends it's not interested in the Ukraine war or geopolitics. Yeah, you can make friends at the DPA open mic. So anyway, check it out. It will be streamed on this channel, on the main channel, and also on the DPA open mic channel. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next update.